So, a question that I ask every guest that's on this podcast, because it is called Jemele Hill is Unbothered, is when did you become unbothered?
Oh man, it actually my unbothered it was a process. It's different phases of unbothered, but I've got to go back to the first phase, and that's when my father started noticing that I wasn't happy. He would say stuff like my eyes weren't dancing, my smile wasn't bright, and we used to actually have arguments about it because the truth is he was right, but I wasn't ready to face that because I honestly didn't know where to go to find this my smile again and the brightness in my eyes. As he said, I was successful, I was a celebrity, I was wealthy, I was working. It's like, what do I have to complain about? And I was honestly miserable.
What was taking away your light? You said, because he said he didn't see the light in your eyes. What would you say is taking it up?
I was trying to fit in and I didn't. I was trying to fit in with the whole idea of red carpets. And for me, red carpets represented, and the funny thing is, being invited to them up the ass, right? But for me, red carpets represented a temporary validation. And I just never believed in that. Like, you call my name for 3.7 seconds, and then all of a sudden your flash and your attention moves to the next person, and I'm being hurried out of the way. But that's the name of the business. You do a movie, and in 2 weeks, you're hurried out of the way. You get on the red carpet, you're hurried out of the way. And I just kind of felt like I'm more than somebody who needs to be hurried out of the way. I'm more special than that. I have more to contribute than hurry up and get out of the way. And so trying to fit into that, I think he saw a dimming of my light. And to answer your question, that was the beginning phase of my unbothered, because I started to say, what happens if I chase what makes me happy? What could happen? And that's when I designed for myself first, my happy list. And it actually has become a staple tool with my clients and actually on the show. It's like, what truly makes me happy without self-sabotage, without criticism. And I got to tell you, again, first phase of my unbothered, the things I put on the list were like, having a puppy, visiting friends from college that weren't in LA, walks on the beach, weekend trips away, just things that I love to do. Swing on the swing set at the playground, watch the sunset, just things. And when I put them on a piece of paper, I noticed I wasn't doing most of them because I was so busy chasing the acting, making sure I was in town for the pilot season meant I couldn't travel from January to May. And, just different things I just started to see where I was choosing to stifle my life and therefore my degree of happiness, doing this actress thing. And I just finally said, I'm going to take a year and see what happens if I focus on my happiness. And what really happened is that I started being more public with my workouts and my nutrition plan and talking about what made me happy. And more people, surprisingly to me at the time, were more interested in that than the acting chase. Because I guess everybody was doing the same thing. It's Hollywood, you're African American, you're an actress, everybody's living the same life. And then here I am, running 2 miles during my lunch break, or drinking green smoothies instead of having donuts at the craft table, or, it's just the difference in me not trying to fit in. I started to gain my happiness and more attention, which is interesting, right? Then another phase of my unbothered, I gotta say, skip forward. My father passed, and he said in his last days, if you don't do anything in my name, oh, please, please, please pursue this healthy living thing. Because he kept saying, you're an amazing actress, obviously. But he would say, but your shit is saving people and changing people. He was like, that's your shit. So no one can do it like you. Nobody does it with your passion and your purpose. Promise me you'll do something with it. And so when he passed, I said, you know what? Let me put a little bit more attention in his name on that. And the network started calling, and the radio station started calling, and more celebrities started calling. And I was like, whoa. And then another phase of being unbothered was when I went to Africa. And I just learned that I can do it all if I decide to do it my way. And by that time, I feel like divinely ordained. By the time I went to Africa and started feeling that way, I had already built a healthy living brand of probably 10 years. I had been away from the acting enough that people missed me, directors, producers, because now I started to say, if I go back into the acting thing and try to do both, there's a way I want to do it. There's people I want to work with. There's directors and producers. There's certain scripts and characters I want to do. So I started talking to favorite directors and producers. And every time I said to them, if you have something, let me know. They'll be like, oh my God, we've missed you, of course. And literally in months, I started acting again, and then life coaching, and everything exploded at once. So all of that to say, as you can hear, I had different phases and different steps to my unbotheredness. And my gifts made room for me in that space.
Yeah, it was interesting as I was doing research to sit down and talk to you. You losing your parents at different times had such a dramatic impact on your life, but both of them came a purpose. We saw, you just explained what happened when you lost your father. You sort of then this entirely new pathway opened up.
Mm-hmm.
When you lost your mother, what was the pathway that opened up after that?
My mother passed of thyroid cancer, and she wasn't sick very long. I mean, from diagnosis to death was about 60 days, including like a surgery. And so it was a very aggressive form of cancer. I was an entering freshman at Spelman, so I wasn't around for a lot of it. So even that 60 days was really 30 days for me, because I was getting ready to go away to school. I left New Jersey for Atlanta to go to Spelman, and literally October 31st is her angel anniversary. So just think about the fact that I got to school probably mid-August, and by Halloween, I was going home for her funeral. So where that shifted was I was there at Spelman to be a theater major with a psychology minor. And when my mother passed, my disbelief, my lack of understanding, my fear of my own health, because I didn't know if it was something that was hereditary, all of that shifted my academic lifestyle. And I went into psychology chemistry for pre-med, because I just thought I don't want anyone to have to lose someone and feel like I felt without an understanding. So I launched into this, what I didn't realize was going to be lifelong, to be honest, but I launched into this space of whatever I have to do to not only understand what cancer is and what happened with her, I also want to avoid it as best I can with me and help other people. And that was my decision at 17, 18, if you can imagine. So my mom's death launched me into my healthy living, how I eat, my exercise routine, and just my love of movement and peace of mind and managing stress, and everything that I was researching as a scientist, an undergrad studying scientist. Everything I researched that could prevent cancer became my lifestyle. Isn't that deep? That was kind of out of fear, but again, like you're saying, losing her led to who I've been, that everybody watched me become, which is, again, certified nutrition, certified life coach, certified fitness. So all of that came out of, like you said, me growing and elevating upon the loss.